How different is a powerless jinn from a mere human? In the fractured desert kingdom of Seiran, the demons of wind, fire, and waves faded into fairy tales. But when a cult of strangers arrives looking for a jinn, people are forced to ponder the possibility of someone around them is more than they seem. And to worsen this plot, the strangers are asking for Zaira, a fugitive and alleged murderer. Zaira is a jinn indeed, but she's no killer. A thief, maybe. A criminal sentenced into a human body, but she has nothing to do with any human deaths. She's without power, only helped by the brash mercenary Heir, striving to untangle this web of intrigue before either the guards or the cult gets to her, leaving the real killer on the loose. They soon realize that Zaira isn't the only jinn in town, and this simple murder isn't so simple either. As the pair forms an unlikely friendship, gathering allies from Kalaran's highest and lowest class, a much larger conspiracy unfolds, and enemies more powerful than they could imagine reveal themselves. Discovering the truth isn't just personal now, it might be the only option to prevent the war about to engulf the desert. When swords and wits fail, can Zaira break the shackles locking away her powers? Or will they succumb to the manipulation of their foes? Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. Today's video will conclude a series of reviews I've had in mind for this month to celebrate Halloween, with a look at Shackles of the Storm by Dar and Laurie Cardinal. Yes, you heard that right. This book has two authors. A Hungarian couple who decided to indulge one of their mutual interests. And in case you're wondering why I'm doing this book for Halloween, even though it doesn't actually have anything to do with Halloween, well, the reasoning for that is quite simple. The original folk holiday upon which Halloween is based, Samhain, has people dressing up as monsters in order to scare away the spirits of the dead, who are believed to, on that night, be more capable of crossing over into the land of the living. The idea of inverting that and having a monster-ish get dressed up or being forced to present as a human is an idea too good to resist, even though the setting has nothing to do with has nothing to do with Halloween. The TLEW for this review goes a little something like this. The book follows, as you might perhaps assume, an investigation plot. And over the course of this investigation, more and more details about the machinations of the world and the presuppositions upon which it is built start to become not just revealed, but also unraveled. While these aspects are presented in an interesting way, I can't really say they stand out particularly. So this is not a case of me recommending it. This is a case of if you care. For those of you who want a little more detail, well, stick around because that's exactly what I'm going to give you. The book starts out with an investigation in the murder of a high-ranking official within the city of Kalaran, where most of the story takes place. This investigation is quickly derailed due to corruption, and the two people who are caught in the crossfire, perfumer's assistant Zaira and mercenary Heir, have to team up in order to find out not just what actually happened, but also what are the reasons behind what has actually happened. And over the course of the book, a third character, Kerim, who is the second in command in the political leadership of Kalaran, undergoes his own investigations in the shady dealings of his brother and political leader, Prince Charta of Kalaran. I hope I'm not making this book sound too chaotic, because it really isn't. It is complex, I will admit that, but the plot is laid out in a way that allows the reader to never lose their perspectives. Readers are always aware of what is supposed to be going on, and while the plot has a lot of moving parts, you always understand how these parts are connected, and what the next steps, or what the next developments for perhaps for both sides should be, and how they could act upon them. That is helped tremendously by the outstanding world building that these two authors have put into place. They've gone to great lengths to make sure that the world comes across as dynamic and lived in, and therefore thereby making all the systems, organizations, and fail-safes that the people within setting have put in place come across as genuine and believable. They also did a great job at showcasing what it takes to maintain all of these social systems, and in showing how the deed that kickstarts this book's plot cascades throughout the rest of the setting. So yeah, great job right there. There also are some inklings on a potential magic system that are being showed throughout this book. Not much, but enough for a solid foundation for future books that would be based within the same setting to further explore. Unfortunately, when it comes to other aspects, this book's quality starts to become less consistent. For example, in the characterization department, the two main characters, Zaira and Zaira, whose naming scheme I just figured out as I was writing the script. They are more interesting in concept than they really are in execution. I'm going to start by talking about Zaire because I think he's easier to pin down. As a mercenary as a high-ranking member of a mercenary guild, Zaire is one of the best hand-to-hand fighters in the entire setting. However, he constantly carries a bit of a chip on his shoulder due to the divergence between his background and his interests. While that is mentioned as a source of tension for him, how exactly that tension manifests is left woefully underexplored throughout this entire story. We do get flashbacks to his earlier life. However, those flashbacks serve more to establish his current relationships rather than really go into his character and into any of his any of the struggles that really define his character arc over the course of this book. Though to be fair, the readers do get that right at the climax, when Zaire decides to finally take matters into his own hands. However, unfortunately, by then it is too little, too late. And so yeah, he doesn't. So yeah, while I appreciate what's been done with him, there really could have been more done here. Zaira is, I will say, a bit more of an interesting case. And she is the one character who is presented, who's presented in first person, whereas every other POV we have of this book occurs in the third person, which actually makes sense, given that she is a djinn in a human body. She would have a different perspective compared to literally everyone else, and that different perspective is used very effectively. You get a better sense of how she thinks, how she acts, and what motivates her, and all of that helps flesh her out. Even if just that little bit more. However, in spite of that, the side characters basically steal the show with every appearance. Not all of them have their own distinctive motivations, frames of mind, distinctive drives, etc. And they also allow the readers to immerse themselves into the cultures, the organizations, the rituals, the customs, and the religions present within this setting. And they really allowed this setting to become much more alive as a result. The one exception to this, to this general rule, or the most notable one, is Prince Charta, the previously mentioned ruler of Kalaran, who kind of just sits around being gay and useless. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when literally every other character, even within his small section of the setting, shows more personality, more drive, and more initiative than him, well, he just comes across as a narrative roadblock. He is basically the Robert Baratheon of this story, but with none of the charm, or actually none of any charm, if I'm to be honest. And given I'm not even fond of Robert Baratheon, you can imagine what I think of Prince Charta. So yeah, he is a notable exception, but the other side characters are generally good. Overall, this book does stand out as a well-crafted example of an adventure fantasy throwback that is sure to gather some attention based solely on the setting and the quality of the way some aspects of the story are presented. But for my taste as a reader, there is unfortunately not enough character work in place for me to really become invested in what's going on within this setting. My final rating for Shackles of the Storm is a 3 out of 5. And that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, then please leave a like and maybe even share this video wherever you think other people will like it as well. If you have anything you'd like to add to any part of what I just said, the comment section awaits your input. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. Ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My own book, Heir to the Empire: The Next Generation, is available at most major book retailers under a master link in the description down below, right past my social media, which I also suggest you check out should you feel so inclined. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.